In this video, I'm going to talk about a cognitive bias that absolutely destroys your ability to achieve what you want. It's not because I want to be negative. It's because sometimes the greatest gift you can give yourself is being objective. Even if you're dreaming big, it's to be objective in a singular moment. And what do I mean by that? Oftentimes, we have a huge issue as human beings. We all believe we're better than we actually are. Now, this isn't to say you shouldn't have confidence. This isn't to say you shouldn't think big, but sometimes the greatest gift you can give yourself is realizing how average you are in relation to what you want, right? I say this because I do believe you need to be extremely optimistic and do and believe the things that empower you to move forward. But I think the area that can also hurt you is when you don't realize your own mistakes. And so let me explain. Whenever I speak to a potential client, I can always tell their level of awareness by a few things. One, can they clearly define what they want, right? And when they're explaining themselves, do they use a lot of platitudes? So when they're saying, I want to sell this much of this, or they say, I just want to be the best. Or do they say, these are the exact things I'm seeing with my clients, or most of my clients are happy. Whenever I see somebody who can't analyze the objective truth of something, I'm concerned, because what I see that as is they have a history of lying to themselves and not digging deep enough to get to the truth. And the reason why this is so damaging is that they never actually get to improve in the areas that they might be average. I think truthfully, average is a mindset, because it's your inability to measure against what has happened in the past. I think that everyone can be above average in a lot of areas if they're willing to be objective. Now, let's not confuse this with dreaming big and thinking big. You can think really big and also be really objective on a more granular level when it matters. And that's what I see is one of the most important aspects of growth. Oftentimes, everyone wants to win. Everyone loves Kobe Bryant. Everyone loves Michael Jordan. Everyone loves the people they see and they would like to embody. And they tell themselves these stories that are just like them. But almost always, their work ethic, their analysis of their goals and struggles are never really up to par. And I really think greatness is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. If you want to achieve big things, that feels amazing because you get to be excited by a scary goal that you're not sure if you can achieve, which motivates you to get up every day. But if you can't look on a micro level at your daily actions and areas you can improve, and you're just thinking really big, you will fail. Because at the end of the day, you're not measuring yourself against the truth. You're hoping for a better future without seeing what creates the skill of the people who are so excellent. And so I bring this up because if you want to improve this, here's what I recommend to you. Whenever you set a goal, make sure it's clear. Because what I see when people set goals is whenever they make them vague, like I want to be the best, what they're really doing is they're preventing themselves from feeling failure when they actually don't achieve it. Because they can just move the goalpost. But when somebody sees something and they set a specific goal and they don't achieve it, they're forced to sit and be really honest about why they didn't achieve it. And often it's their own fault. And when somebody can do that, that is the greatest power and that is the greatest gift. When someone can't, everything's a moving goalpost and it's like a mess they're leaving behind with no understanding of why it didn't work. Two, the goals you have need to be compelling. They need to make you go like, okay, how? And what that does is it makes you go analyze what it's going to take to make it happen and reverse engineer it. If you don't make it big enough, you're just going to kind of like do whatever is in front of you without thinking bigger. And so what this could mean, in the case of, let's say, a business owner, when you're undercharging, you're like, oh, I'm going to make this much money this year, but you're undercharging, realizing in the long term, the idea of that big number sounds great. Let's say you wanted to make $100,000 a year online or $200,000 a year online. And you're like, I'm going to do $200 a month and I'm going to get to that goal. You don't actually ever think what it's going to take to achieve that. And if you crunch the numbers, that would be exhausting. But because you never analyzed what you're trying to do, you set a goal that ends up harming you and creating a lot more stress than is needed versus if you're like, well, if I want to get $200,000 a year, if I get 10 clients at XYZ or 20 clients at XYZ, and you made the numbers more logical and attainable, now you have something to measure against when you make a mistake or when you're trying to understand why something's working, why it's not working. Maybe you have to get better at sales. Maybe you have to get better at marketing. Maybe you have to build a better service or a better offer. And each one of those have totally different outcomes based on your ability to analyze objectively. Next, it needs to be challenging because often if you feel like you're guaranteed to succeed when you do something, it's probably not worth your effort, because when you get it, you're not going to be that excited. And really the last one is it needs to really be appropriate to your level of accomplishment. And what I mean by this is if you haven't achieved a huge number, don't make that your first goal, right? So if you've never made a $5,000 sale, instead of saying, I'm going to make $2 million in my business, make your first $5,000 sale, right? And then make your second one, and then make your third one. And then you build confidence and specific competence in the thing that will help you achieve the larger goal in a way that actually makes sense. I share this with you because I do believe everyone has greatness inside of them. If you feel it in you and you know that it's something you want, you probably can achieve it. But don't use platitudes. Don't let yourself be disillusioned to the difficulty of accomplishment, because if everyone could accomplish things, then it wouldn't be worth anything. There's a reason why we respect people who do big things, because it's challenging. I'm all about big goals. I'm all about believing in yourself. But sometimes you need to realize that you're not superior in the areas that you wish to be, and that's okay. But if you know where you're lacking, you have the chance to improve. If you just keep telling yourself you want to be the best, you want to get better, you want to be this person, that's not enough. And it's going to leave you with a lot of disappointment that can be prevented just by simply going back and analyzing the details of why you've made mistakes, what didn't work, and setting clearer goals. Hope this helped, and hope you guys have a wonderful day.